Hey there, I'm student meteorologist Monique Martinez with your Thursday edition of FSU weather. Currently it's gorgeous over Doak Campbell Stadium, partly cloudy at 87 degrees with some south-south winds coming in at 9 miles per hour. Now across the Big Bend we have temperatures ranging from the low to high 80s and the low 90s with the exception being right here in Perry at 78 degrees. Now our storm activity thankfully has diminished over the last couple of days. We have some activity currently moving across the Big Bend, but we are seeing slightly better conditions compared to what we've seen over the last week. Now on today's show, we will talk about the severe weather that we are seeing in the eastern U.S. We will also talk about those rain chances for Tallahassee and our surrounding region, and we'll also have your weekend guide. And not to mention, today is the last summer edition of FSU weather. Stick with us for FSU weather. And welcome back into this Thursday edition of FSU weather. Currently gorgeous over Doak Campbell Stadium, partly cloudy with some south-southwest winds coming in at 9 miles per hour. Now today for our temperature almanac, we have had a high of 88 degrees, slightly below our average of 92, and we are right on par for our low at 73 degrees. Now currently across the Big Bend, we have temperatures at 87 in Tallahassee and temperatures ranging from the mid to high 80s and the low 90s, with the exception being right here at Perry at 78 degrees. Now we have lots of moisture in the air, so our dew points are slightly close to those temperature values. We are very, very muggy in Crawfordsville at 82 degrees for our dew point and 74 for our dew point in Tallahassee. Now for our precipitation, we have had 0.69 inches yesterday of rain, and today we are showing 0.02 inches of rain. Now that was at the airport, so we have probably had quite a bit higher rain chances across Tallahassee, but our average today is 4.76 inches and our observed average is 7.12 inches. Now, for much of the Big Bend, we are in for a non-severe risk, so we are possibly going to see scattered, isolated storms and thunderstorms. However, moving north towards the Mariana and Dothan area, they could potentially see isolated thunderstorms and potential localized flooding. Now, as we look at our Tallahassee radar, we're going to see those storm chances have diminished, and we could possibly potentially see some lightning strikes and some moderate to heavy rainfall towards the Perry and Fargo area. Now, as we head into the overnight hours, we will be 75 and clear in Tallahassee, 74 and cloudy in Quincy, and then we will be clear at 75 degrees in Perry. Now, for our dog walk forecast, if you want to walk your dog or your cat, at 7 a.m. we will have a 20% chance of rain at 75 degrees. We will warm up slightly right before the lunchtime hour at 11 a.m. to 85 degrees with a 20% chance of rain. Now looking into the future, we will have quite low rain chances again heading until tomorrow. Those storm chances will possibly increase as that sea breeze convection comes off of the Gulf, and we could possibly potentially see some moderate rainfall over the Monticello area. Now as we head until tomorrow, we will have temperatures ranging from the high 80s to the low 90s, 91 in Tallahassee, 92 in Monticello, but we will be quite stormy across the Big Bend. Now as we head into our 7-day forecast, we will see thunder and a high of 92 on Friday, and we will dissipate slightly on Saturday with a 30% chance of rain. We will be hot at 94 degrees on Saturday and Sunday, and then we will mellow out a little bit to Tuesday at 91 degrees, and we will have slightly lower chances of rain. Now if we take a look at the southeast, we see that we are quite beautiful across the southeast. In Safety Harbor, we are currently at 88 degrees, 86 in clear in Charleston, and 94 in clear in Nashville. Now temperatures in the southeast are ranging more or less the same as they are in the Big Bend. 79 in New Orleans, 96 in Warm and Little Rock, and 87 currently in Tallahassee. Now we are seeing quite a bit of moisture in our atmosphere for the southeast, 74 for our dew point in Tallahassee, and slightly drier in Nashville at a dew point of 66 degrees. Now for our heat indices, we are currently feeling very warm in Memphis at 102. 104 is quite warm as well in Jackson, and we are slightly better in Florida with 84 as our feels like temperature for Jacksonville and 95 in Tallahassee. Now we currently have a frontal system that is really shifting those winds. As you can see, we have winds shifting quite actively along that stationary boundary. And then we also have this high pressure system hovering off of our Gulf, really steering those winds in the clockwise direction. Now behind that front in the upper level, we are also seeing drier conditions above that front and moisture ahead of that front. So again, we may potentially see some increased rain chances over the next few days. Now heading into the overnight hours, tonight in Tallahassee will be 75 and clear, slightly rainy in Montgomery at 76 degrees, and 81 in Tampa and clear. Now looking into the future, we will have that activity pick up a little bit, and we will see those southerly winds come off the Gulf and potentially bring some light rainfall, but we will be possibly clear over the next couple of days. Now for our spotlight city of Atlanta, Georgia, Atlanta is partly cloudy right now, 76 degrees, with some light winds coming in at 5 miles per hour. Now if we look into the future for the next 3 days, Atlanta will have a high of 89 on Friday, and it will warm up into 93 on Saturday with 20% chances of rain, and 72 for the low for all 3 days. Now tomorrow we will see 91 high in Tallahassee with stormy conditions, and we will be stormy as well over the southeast, with the exception being Little Rock at 102 and sunny. But now let's take it across the nation to see what's going on. Brandon, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Monique. Yes, we do have that frontal system, which is moving across the eastern side of the U.S., but more so on the western side, we have high heat and high heat indices. I'll get to in the next graphic. But over in the southern plains into Texas, we see temperatures reaching up to 101 in San Antonio, 99 in Dallas, a little bit more toward the west. We see temperatures around 74 in Los Angeles. And here is that heat index for the area, reaching up to 102 in Dallas, 82 in New Orleans, and 105 in Memphis. So right in the center of the country is where we're seeing much of those high heat indices. And for the kind of pattern for today, we do have that frontal system moving over. We do have a nice warm front moving up across Oklahoma right here, but more so on the eastern side. Here's that front moving in toward the south in the east and up into the northeast, bringing a severe threat for that side of the country. And to couple with that severe threat, we do have active severe thunderstorm watches down the coast with some also heat advisories. And moving over toward a little bit of the west, we do have some more heat advisories up into the central of the U.S. and more toward the western side of the U.S. with excessive heat warnings in parts of Arizona and Southern California. Now for our water vapor imagery, we can see this kind of upper level, mid-level trough into the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley region. That's assisting some of that severe weather potential as it pushes that frontal boundary over toward the south and the east. And if we go up a little more in the atmosphere to look at the upper levels, we see on the western side over the southwest that upper level ridge, which is still parked over that side of the country, which is helping to bring some of those monsoonal trough showers and storms for that side of the country in the Four Corners region, and more so on the eastern side. Here's that little dip in the jet stream, that little bit of that trough moving over, bringing in some of that severe weather associated with that front. Now, as SBC has outlined today for today's outlook, a slight risk of severe weather into parts of the southeast, mid-Atlantic, and into the northeast. So let's take a look right now what that radar looks like. We do have that severe thunderstorm watch in that pink color in the northeast and parts of Massachusetts and up to Maine, and all these little boxes of the orange color, those are our active severe thunderstorm warnings. So the main threat today for this side of the country is going to be some isolated hail. Brief spin-up tornadoes are possible, but gusty to severe winds are the main threat, as well as the same threat down for the mid-Atlantic states, as we have some supercells possible for this side of the country with strong to severe winds possible, and heading more toward the south and east, toward Mississippi and Alabama region. We do have some active severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, the main threat today for this side of the area is going to be that severe wind gust threat, as these storms should be moving their way toward the south as we head toward the evening hours and before they lose some energy and die off toward the end of the night. But contributing to the severe threat, we do have high instability, which is being aided by some high dew points, as well as the daytime heating, which is pretty intense up to the 90s. So that coupled with the dew points is going to increase the instability in the atmosphere, give more kind of juice for the storms to kick up and become stronger. But as we go into tomorrow, the threat for severe weather is going to be more so shifted up to the east. We have a marginal risk up into North Dakota and into Iowa and the Corn Belt region. But for tonight's temperatures across the country, we're going to be seeing temperatures reaching about up to 85 degrees in Dallas-Fort Worth. So it's going to be plenty hot in the center of the country for nice lows and a little bit cooler as you head toward the northeast after that front passes with lows in the 70s, and head toward the Pacific Northwest. Our lows will be in the upper 50s. And for tomorrow's highs, we'll see kind of similar conditions as we saw today, with some storms in the southeast area, some partly cloudy skies in the northeast, with temperatures in the upper 90s there, even reaching 100 in the southern plains, 102 in Dallas, and heading over toward the western side of the country. These temperatures reaching up to the 60s in San Francisco and 75 in Los Angeles. So now let's stick with you for a look into what your weekend guide will entail for this upcoming weekend. So if you'd like to go for a nice run tomorrow morning, it would be your best bet. It would be pretty humid outside, though, with relative humidity is up into the 90s, but our UV index is going to be low, and we won't have a real chance of precipitation. So I suggest you don't go toward the afternoon, the lunchtime hours, when we have the UV index up to 9. And so, but all in all, we'll have decreased rain chances, so your morning and the afternoon, evening is going to be your best bet. Now, for the res tomorrow, we'll see temperatures reaching up to 91 degrees with partly cloudy skies with a chance for scattered storms in the area with a nice southwest wind at 8 miles an hour. So just keep an eye on the radar if you decide to go to the res and get on the lake and on the water. But also, if you find yourself up in Milwaukee for this weekend, we do have an air show featuring the U.S. Navy's Blue Angels. They'll be headlining the air show, the Milwaukee Air and Water Show. Now, for Saturday, we'll have a slight chance for thunderstorms and rain toward the back half of the day with a high of 90 degrees. And heading into Sunday, we'll see the storms and kind of die off in the morning hours. That should be kind of cleared up by showtime with a high of 86 degrees. Now, we'll talk a little bit about the tropics real quick to see what's going on, what we're tracking, what we're not tracking. So over into the eastern Pacific, we did have Tropical Storm Estelle. That did die off, and it's now a tropical depression, and it's expected to weaken and become the remnants of it into the next couple of days. But more so on the eastern side of the basin, we have a broad area of low pressure right here, which is being outlined by the Hurricane Center for a 30% chance of development in the next 5 days, as well as not much going on in the Atlantic, partly due to a big swath of wind shear, which is being really persistent over the area. And we'll be seeing activity really increase as we head into August and into September. Now, I want to give a nice shout out to Spencer, who gave us a nice look at the local.
All right, thank you, Brandon. So currently in the Big Bend region, we are looking at gorgeous summertime temperatures, looking at 78 out in Perry, 87 here in Tallahassee, and 88 out in Quincy. As well, we can taking a look at our radar for the area right now. Most of the storms have died down through this afternoon. However, we still do have some activity out by Defuniak Springs and by Vernon, as well along the I-10 corridor, particularly around Lake City. You should be aware for some storms in the area. And for the next 6 hours, you can see we have temperatures through midnight, roughly in the low 80s into the upper 70s. Clear conditions throughout sunset. However, once the sun does set from about 9 o'clock to 12, we can expect to see some storms potentially in the area. And for the next 7 days, we can expect temperatures in the 90s throughout the rest of the next 7 days, with lows as well in the low 70s with some stormy and hot conditions over the next weekend. And passing it off to Brandon with our next segment.
Yes, thank you, Spencer. I just want to give a quick thank you to everyone for sticking with us and watching the show this summer. It's been a pleasure working on the show, learning a bunch. I want to welcome back onto the screen Spencer. He's been a great help with us for the past couple of weeks. He's been helping us behind the scenes and got on the screen tonight for the first time. But I also want to give a big thank you to the people who have started the show for the summer, who taught me a bunch, with Evan, Ariana, and Genevieve for helping kick off the show and keep it running. Also want to welcome back on the screen Wanique as well. She's been co-leading with me for the summer and keeping the graphics running on days that I don't do graphics. So give a nice little shout out to Wanique.
Thank you, Brandon. Yeah, it's been a great learning experience, and we have learned a lot, Brandon and I, over these last couple of weeks. Another shout out to Spencer for being here. He has helped us with time cues and really tech support, so we couldn't have done it without you, Spencer, so thank you. But thank you so much for everyone for watching for the summer edition of FSU Weather. We will be back for the last week of August for the fall semester, but please follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook at FSU Weather. Also, be sure to watch us on YouTube and subscribe to us at FSU Weather. Please follow us on Instagram as well at FSU Weather. So one last look at your 7-day forecast. For Friday, we will have a high of 92 with chances of thunderstorms and a 60% chance of rain. We will taper off a little bit over the weekend with hot conditions on Saturday and Sunday. But I am student meteorologist Winique Martinez. Thank you for watching this last edition of FSU Weather.